Hello wrestling fans, the Wrestling Wizard here and welcome to another video. And in this video we're going to explore the possibility, the strong possibility that we could see Bray Wyatt return to WWE at SummerSlam. But before we do that, I want to say a massive thank you to all the subscribers of the channel. That means anyone that likes the videos, share the videos or comments. It means the world. We surpassed 1,000 subscribers the other day and it means the world. Honestly, the whole point in starting this channel was to network with like-minded WWE and wrestling fans in general that are passionate about wrestling. I love hearing your fantasy bookings, your predictions, and after all, that's what it's all about. I never wanted to make this kind of a news channel. I wanted to make it more of a theory channel. You know it's no secret if you're a fan of this channel that I'm a huge fan of Bray Wyatt, the Fiend Bray Wyatt. That alter ego literally got me back into watching wrestling all over again. And I've watched wrestling since the Attitude Era. So I'm a little bit of a dinosaur. But that Fiend alter ego got me passionate and religiously watching WWE again. And of course I was gutted when he left. I mean, I've got other superstars that I'm a massive fan of. But really for me, things weren't really the same with Bray Wyatt and the Fiend Bray Wyatt not in WWE. And I've got a theory in regards to SummerSlam, and I've got a theory about the whole Bray Wyatt and release from WWE situation. And again, as always, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. SummerSlam and the connection that it has with Bray Wyatt is unique. You think 2013, we saw the in-ring debut of the cult leader version of Bray Wyatt. He faced and beat Kane. In 2019, we saw the in-ring debut of the Fiend alter ego. And of course, he beat Finn Balor. We look at 2020, the Fiend alter ego beat Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns came out and attacked him. The Roman Reigns link goes all the way back to 2015 at SummerSlam when, of course, Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt faced Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And guess what? Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns beat the Wyatt family in that matchup. So two losses, well, one loss and a situation where Roman Reigns destroyed him, called him a freak in a mask, told him he couldn't handle the responsibility, and we never saw that revenge. Now, if you go all the way back to 2017, the Demon Finn Balor beat the cult leader version of Bray Wyatt. Now, yes, we know the Fiend beat Finn Balor, but he's never defeated the Demon Finn Balor. So could there potentially be a link there with the Fiend and the Demon version of Finn? Could that link to Judgment Day? Is that why we potentially see things coming full circle? After all, revenge is a confession of pain. And if you think about it, in the previous videos, we've discussed the possibility that Edge is somehow associated with Bray Wyatt and bringing back the Fiend, unlocking him from that room, releasing him from that padlock. Instead of letting him out, instead of letting him in, letting him out. Is that going to be the new catchphrase? Let me out. Let him out of that room, release him, and then he returns to WWE. Yes, it's a reach, it's a huge reach. It might not happen. But what if this is all set up for Bray Wyatt? What if this is all SummerSlam based and this was always the plan from the start? You know, if we go all the way back to the Bray Wyatt release, that was on July the 31st. A whole year later, on July the 30th, we're going to see SummerSlam. The last Firefly Funhouse segment we saw from Bray Wyatt, he did say he would return. Essentially, there's going to be something new coming. Did he foresee his release? Did WWE know at that point that he was going to be gone? We'll come on to that in a moment. Are things going to come full circle? Is this all set up? Now, I'm not saying he's going to come back and just get revenge on Roman Reigns. I don't think that would be wise. I think keep the Fiend, or Bray Wyatt, whatever version he comes back in, if he comes back, as far away from Roman Reigns as possible. And the title, because after all, initially, I think that was some of the booking problems with the Fiend early on. They forced him into the title picture, didn't really know what to do with the character. You know, he was literally ridiculously overpowering. You know, kicking out of about 30 curb stomps from Seth Rollins. And he didn't need to be pushed into the title. You could have just kept him a weapon, winning, only really seeing the Fiend alter ego at premium events. You don't need to force him into the title picture. You could have a mouth-watering prospect of having the Demon Finn Balor versus The Fiend along the lines. And that's not even right off the possibility of adding Alexa Bliss into the equation. With WWE missing Cody Rhodes at the moment, and Randy Orton and Roman Reigns on reduced schedule, it makes sense as a perfect fit for Bray Wyatt to come back into the WWE product. There's unfinished business with Randy Orton, with Alexa Bliss, with Roman Reigns, amongst others. Demon Finn Balor. There's so much to look forward to, and that could be the potential. And looking back at it, I really feel that this is how things went. I think that at the back end of 2020, and we saw that Inferno match between Randy Orton and The Fiend. Randy Orton burnt The Fiend alive, and then literally a few days later, Brody Lee passes away. Now, was there expected to be such a gap between TLC and Fastlane where we saw the return of this burnt Fiend? I don't think there was. You've got to think there was a lot of real life psychological scar tissue there for Wyndham himself from losing his close friend. Couple that with dodgy creative bookings along that whole WrestleMania point. You know, Randy Orton beating The Fiend on the grandest stage of them all after that build and investment in that feud between the two of them, including Alexa Bliss. And I think he just had those creative issues and sort of had to have a sit down with Vince, expressed his concerns. Vince could see he wasn't really in the greatest place either, and just said, look, we can't keep having you away from TV under contract. We'll release you from your contract on July 31st. That happened, and you're welcome to come back. We'll welcome you with open arms down the line when you feel ready. And he's expressed lately that he feels ready, that the time is now. Did it take that long to heal? No pun intended. Dirt sheets will say that Bray and Vince fell out and Vince hates Bray, but after all, Vince doesn't need to like you to bring you back, does he? Look at the whole relationship between Vince and Hulk Hogan. Didn't stop Hulk Hogan becoming a star, did it? And that's the thing, is like, over time is a healer, and maybe like after seeing that Firefly Funhouse segment, the last one we saw in Bray Wyatt, and saying that he would be back, he will return, he said. Was that the plan all along? He just needed time. When and where was going to be when he felt the time was right. And it just makes a lot of sense. There was speculation he was going to go to AEW, of course, through that summer of 2021, that he was going to go to another promotion. And that didn't materialise. He went to go and work on a movie, and maybe he just wanted some headspace, wanted to get away, work on different projects for a while before returning. And now, finally now, he feels the time is right. And you've got to think over WrestleMania season of this year. He was in Dallas, Texas, we know, of course, attending WrestleCon and signing autographs with his fans. And maybe that point he went, oh, I actually really am getting the bug here. WrestleMania meant so much to me. He mentioned that in a post around that point. And maybe there were unconfirmed contract negotiations, because if you remember, once April was done and WrestleMania season was done, we saw Alexa appear. Now, we saw the whole therapy sessions, and Alexa is mentioned that she wanted to bring back a darker version. WWE stopped that happening for some reason, and we saw almost an unfinished version of Alexa. Like, she came back and I thought, what's going on? She's like this punk rock chick that's smiling all the time. And for me, it always felt like a stopgap position for the Alexa Bliss character, because something else was happening behind the scenes. Now, we know that there's a connection between Alexa and, of course, The Fiend. The last time we saw those was an interaction at WrestleMania 37. Alexa cost The Fiend the match. So Bray Wyatt coming back to WWE, if that was the plan and the wheels were in motion starting from May, you couldn't then bring back Alexa as a new darker gimmick, because you have to there's unfinished business between The Fiend and Alexa, and that needs tying up. And it just seemed that way. Like, things seem to feel odd over the months of May. Like I've said on previous videos, like Edge has this dominant stable that he's starting, wants to add new members, calls it Judgment Day. And then on the 6th of June, Wyatt's 6, Edge is suddenly expelled from Judgment Day. Now, is that because they've then know that Bray Wyatt's coming back? So that then changes Edge's plans. Bray Wyatt wants to work with Edge. Edge wants to work with Bray Wyatt. Those two, they know, are going to be absolute fight, and that is your summer through to the end of the year sorted in a feud between Edge, Bray Wyatt. Add potentially Alexa Bliss into the mix against Damian Priest. Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, and that's pretty much the rest of the year sorted without having to even involve The Fiend with someone like Roman Reigns. Just have him book dominant, book strong, creatively explore some new ideas and possibilities down the line, and that is literally mouth-watering. And that's the way, honestly, I see things coming full circle. Now, of course, there is the possibility that we may never ever see Bray Wyatt return to WWE, and all this speculation is for nothing, and it might not materialise to anything. There may be no connection with Edge. Edge just comes alone or with someone else and starts a new faction. But we have a right as WWE fans, as wrestling fans, to speculate, and it's all starting to add up a bit. I just feel that whole May period, things got a little bit weird, and I thought, are they halting Alexa because they know Bray Wyatt's coming back? Is things changing, or are things changing with Edge because they know Bray Wyatt's coming back? And interjecting Bray Wyatt back into WWE programming would be the best thing that WWE could do this year. Is it time? Is it time to let him in? Or let him out if he's in that cellar or whatever the heck that is, that crypt thing. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you last this long to the end, honestly, it means the world. Thank you so much. Be really appreciative if you could like the video, share the video, and of course, subscribe if you're new. We come out with theories left, right, and centre. Thank you. See you soon.